So you've seen Alex Hormozi's content all throughout the internet, and it begs the question, is he actually FTC compliant? My name is Alex Vonderhaar, and I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, nor should you take it as such, but what I am is I'm a neuromarketer. I study the neuroscience research and psychology research around why customers buy what they buy, why they engage with what they engage with online or in person or anywhere else you engage with brands. But there's been a big push by the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC, as you'll hear me call them in this video. And I want to show you that even the top level players in any brand, any type of social media land strategy, how that's actually pulling back down to the FTC and how you can stay a little bit FTC compliant so that way you don't get into big trouble. Now, the FTC over the last few years has been going after companies that are using marketing and ad agencies, influencers, people that are coaches and consultants online, and they're going after them hard because there's been such a big amount of fake gurus and such amount of deception that they had to step in, which is a really good thing for the marketing and advertising industry and for influencers. But I want to take one of the top influencers right now and show you how he's not even FTC compliant in some of his ads that he's running. Now, quick disclaimer, besides the fact that I'm not a lawyer, is that I like Alex Hormozi. I think he's done an amazing job for the business community, for small and scaling businesses. I think he's done an incredible job with his personal brand and his content, and I have nothing but respect for the guy. So I wanted to get that out of the way first, but I want to show you that even these top level players still have room for improvement on how they can be FTC compliant. So we're going to hop into the Facebook ad library. I'm going to show you a few ads. I didn't just cherry pick them. You can go to the Facebook ad library yourself, scroll through, and you'll notice that these themes are very, very common throughout Alex's content. So let's hop in and let's get going. All right, so this ad came out in June of 2024, and this was when he was launching his school games campaign. Now, this campaign had probably 20 to 25 different ads in it, and almost all of them, they're making the same type of things that would kind of trigger the FTC to go off. The first one is that there's a perceived outcome that is not necessarily allowed. And the second one is that there's a net impression on the ad. So a net impression is this idea that because I'm surrounded by all of this, or like if I show up in my ad in a Bugatti and a Rolex and a nice suit, that by following your program or taking mentorship or coaching from you, that I'm also going to get a Bugatti, a Rolex, and a nice suit. Now, Alex does a good job of countering this by always kind of wearing a wife beater, a flannel, and a nose strip, and usually gym shorts. And he does actually, it's his favorite thing to wear, and he's comfortable, but it also kind of counters a little bit against that. It's very strategic. But as we watch this, I want you to look for what the perceived outcome of this ad is going to be for you as the consumer if you were to buy into school, and also for the net impression of what you get from yourself as if I'm going to buy into this program. So let's hop in and let's take a look.
$4,664 is what Kyle made on his first try. On 54.1% of paid communities make $1 on their first try. That's like 1 out of 2 succeeding. We help you build and monetize the community online through the school games. We'll give you the tools, the training, and the accountability. Accountability all in one place. This is the type of stuff people charge $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 for, even give their first child. And the top 10 school games winners will fly out to my chateau in Vegas to take their business from wherever it is to wherever they want to go. As did Evelyn and Kai and Fahoun and zillions others just like you. And the best part, you can start for free at school.com/games, and I'll see you on the other side.
Okay, so there were a few things. Hopefully you caught them with being inside of this and been following FTC for a really long time now. There's a few things that really stand out to me inside here. Once again, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm not giving Alex legal advice. The one thing that I did notice is that there's a lot of net impression claims here and perceived outcome claims inside of this. So the first one is that he said we have a 54.1% chance of you making $1 or more off of this platform. So with this paid community, I got the impression that if I start multiple accounts, that my odds of winning and gaining momentum and financial traction are going to go up with the more accounts that I create because of just the statistical odds. If I create 1,000 accounts, then I would assume that 540 of them would be making money off of each individual account. So there was the first one. The second one is that he started showing really high monthly reoccurring revenue numbers inside of when he was flipping the papers out by saying Zahoon made, X, Y, and Z. And at the bottom, it had a number of like 70 or 60,000 monthly reoccurring revenue, or MRR. That's showing me as well that, hey, if I start this, I have the odds of making that work. And he said zillions of others more. It was cheeky. It was tongue-in-cheek. It wasn't meant to be serious. But ultimately, the FTC doesn't really care whether or not you're trying to be serious or sarcastic or any of that. What they care about is the net impression or the perceived outcome that me going through this platform is going to be able to get me $70 or $60 or $80 or $100,000, which we'll see in the next video, of how I can actually make that much money by using their system and strategy to be able to go along with that. While it seems minute and while it seems kind of bland to just not put any of this stuff inside of your marketing or advertising, it actually is saving you long term. And apparently Alex and Sam Ovens just did a recent video where he was talking about FTC. We'll link that inside of the description below so you can go check that out. But ultimately, what I want you guys to pay attention to is that you don't have to leverage bland marketing in order to get the same result. You just have to put in there, hey, these claims are not normal. They're not ordinary. We've only run, 20,000 people or 50,000 people through this platform, but you have to be able to substantiate that claim. You can't just say we've run a zillion people through this, because the FTC will look at you and say, okay, well, have you really run whatever a perceived zillion is? And they'll Google that number and say, okay, it's XYZ number. And you've only put through 50 or 100,000 or even a million. But if you're claiming that it's a zillion and that there's this huge astronomical number that we've helped, then they're going to look at you and say, okay, well, this is a lie then. So all of this marketing is now false advertising and false marketing. So something to keep an eye out for are those two things inside of that video. I want to show you the next video as well. And now that you're starting to see how some of these things stack, I want you to comment below. Before I go in, I'll take a quick pause. We'll put a little countdown timer that goes around for a little 3 or 5 second pause. And I want you to comment which one stood out to you right away, so we can go back and forth and be like, yes, absolutely, you got that one. I want to be able to give you guys some claps for starting to learn and implement based off of what I'm teaching you inside of here. All right, so let's watch this one. This one was just posted in August of 2024, so super recent. And I want you guys to look at this as well.
Playing the school games is the fastest way to start an online business. 1 out of 2 people makes $1 or more on their first try. So much so that Max made a lot more than that. He made $40,000. And Jennifer? $43,000. And Ryan? $44,000. And Jack? $47,000. On their first try. $48,000. From the school games. $57,000. $64,000. $67,000. $115K. And this is on their first try. And the nice thing is that you can get started within minutes just by following the steps on the screen. We'll give you the tools to train in the community, like all these wonderful people here, to make sure that you're successful on your first shot. So click the link. You can start for free, and I'll see you on the other side.
All right, let's take a quick pause. Before I get into explaining the rest of this, I want you to comment down below which one stood out to you first. So go ahead and take that, and we'll cut right here. All right, we're back. So let's go through this video a little bit slower than what we went through the last one at, because I want you guys to actually see the different levels of how he could be implicated for this video. And the first one happens actually within the first 3 to 4 seconds.
The school games is the fastest way to start an online business.
Is that statistically provable that going through school games is the fastest way to start an online business? That's kind of a medium claim, right? Like, are there faster ways to start an online business than going through school games? Can he substantiate that claim in court against the FTC, saying that this is, without unequivocal doubt, the fastest way to start an online business? It gets really tricky and really scary when you start doing that, because you have to have all the data to back your claim up inside of this. So now let's go to the next part of this.
1 out of 2 people makes $1 or more on their first try. So much so that Max made a lot more than that. He made...
All right. Once again, we're going back to what we talked about in the other video, that 1 out of 2 people make money on their first time going through this. Is that he may have the data inside of his platform to back that up, but does that mean that if I start 2 accounts that I'm going to be making money by going through this process? Now he's about to do something which I would never do inside of my own marketing, which is go through a series of people ranging from 40,000 to 115,000. Now this one's a little bit more difficult to spot, but I'm going to put you in that frame before we reach through the rest of this.
And Jennifer? And Ryan? $44,000. And Jack? $47,000. On their first try? $48,000. From the school games? $57,000. $64,000. $67,000. $115K. And this is on their first try.
Okay, so not only on their first try, but those are technically all testimonials. So while going through the testimonials, Alex would be responsible if one of those people lied and said, I made $115,000 on my first try, but maybe they only made, 112.7, right? And then he rounded up to 115. If that person fudged any of those numbers, Alex would be responsible for that fudge, not that individual, because he's the one that's promoting it inside of his advertising and inside of his marketing campaigns. So when you're leveraging those different types of testimonials, it becomes really squirrely, because what if that person, it was actually their second try going through, and the first try, maybe they had a huge setup error, right? But it was still technically their first time going through his program, even though it was their first real launch, right? So let's go to an extreme example real fast. Let's say, well, right now, Alex isn't being pursued by the FTC. I don't know that. You don't know that. But let's just take this as an extreme example. Let's say him and Layla get a divorce, right? And it gets ugly, it gets nasty, it gets posted all over social media as half of his clients start leaving him because they're not happy with his personal relationship choices, and they start going after to the BBB or to the FTC directly or to their attorney general inside of their state and saying, hey, this person's making all these marketing and advertising claims and I didn't get the same results that they're claiming inside of their marketing. Now the FTC is going to put a huge spotlight on Alex. And it's not because he did anything wrong during that time, but these videos don't go away. These marketing campaigns live forever online. And because of that, they're going to go back through everything he's ever said, done, posted, any of his reviews and testimonials, and through every single line item, they're going to ask for proof. And they're going to go to all those people that were in that video and say, what is the proof that you made $115,000? What's the proof you made $40,000 on your first try? And he's going to have to substantiate every single one of those claims. So as a business owner, it's worth asking, is making this claim in this video to get the attention, to get the likes, to get the conversions worth the money that it's going to cost you in legal fees and FTC fines if you're not able to substantiate these claims? It just becomes wild and unobtainable. So I want you guys to really ask yourself that question. Is it worth it when we're putting this stuff out for the repercussions that might be coming? And your marketing and advertising teams need to be asking themselves the same questions when they're designing these campaigns. If things go sideways, are we able to really say with 100% proof that every single one of these things is true? So that's where some of these videos can get really squirrely with the FTC. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I love Alex. I think he's an incredible human for what he's done inside of the business community. He's trained all these businesses on how to leverage advertising and marketing fundamentals, and he needs to be applauded for it. And the one thing I will say is that whoever is running his marketing for him is dancing a very fine gray line between what is compliant and what is not compliant with the FTC. Let me know down in the comments if you think that any of these are or are not FTC compliant based off of what we talked about today. And if you have any questions, if you think your marketing team isn't actually studying up on FTC compliance, I can tell you from talking with different agency owners that most of them have no idea what any of these rules and regulations are because they're not lawyers. I'm not a lawyer, and most of these other agency owners aren't lawyers, but the rules and regulations inside of this industry are changing so fast, and they're going after the business owner. They're not necessarily going after the marketing and advertising agency for this. So you as the business owner would be essentially held to task if the marketing agency that you hired was putting out this type of content. So if you aren't sure, if you ask your marketing and ad agency, hey, are you guys making sure that all my stuff's FTC compliant? and you get the weird squirrely suspicion that they have no idea what you're talking about, hit the link down inside the description and book a call with our team, because all of our team members are fully read up on this, and we make sure that all of our campaigns are actually FTC compliant so they don't come back and bite you in the butt later on. Thank you guys, and we'll catch you in the next video.